Alright, we've got a couple boxes, well, packages. This isn't all of them, but might as well only grab the one if I can at a time. These, of course, are kind of hard. Oh, there we go. There's only one thing in here, and this isn't anime, but it is a very interesting looking Chinese film, if I'm not mistaken. These look like Chinese names, and I think somewhere the audio was... Well, anyways, I got this because it looks kind of curious. If it was an anime, it'd probably be staying here on the table, but it's not. If you're curious, I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just saying usually we have a different name for it. Anyways, we got this and these. That's not all. We also have these, which one of these is actually a DVD that came out a while ago, but I missed it. Like, it could have been years. I'm having trouble getting started. Basically, this is what inspired the realization that I had missed something. Let's see, I'll set that over there like that, and then we can open this one. Because the people who released this, anime Midstream, well, they haven't released a whole lot of other shows. There's one that I apparently missed that you know, got additional release. At least as far as I can tell and remember, never had this. This isn't all, of course. We also had that arrive, and we got another Switch game. Basically, I was there, I'm like, oh, Touhou game, we'll get it. Although, I don't know if it looks particularly spectacular. It just is. So let's create a little pile here and start with Iron-Blooded Orphans Mobile Suit Gundam Limited Edition box. I think this was supposed to be Volume 2. Season 2 Parts 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Funimation exclusive. Okay, yeah, this is starting to be familiar. Because I think Part 1 also came with some sort of build your own mecha thing. Okay, cool. It didn't just come off in one little chunk. It came off as a start to the... It's all coming off. And... okay. I think that looks like a sleeve there. Oh, there we go. Huh. I think it's important to note that Season 2 came like this, probably because these will fit in the other half. We've got a booklet, and we've got a... what do they call them? I forget. And we got those. So, metallic gloss injection. Animation. I really ought to just play around with putting these together. Let's put that over there. Take a look at this booklet real quick. Oh, not bad. Neat stuff. So let's go here. Where does it say which one this is? This is, I see right there, S2P1, so this is Season 2 Part 1, and this is Season 2 Part 2. Oh, yeah, I guess it says it right there-ish. Very quiet. Let's see. This is Region A. There's an English dub. Focus camera. Come on. Okay. And I don't know much about this, but... so it's a reversible cover. Not sure what that guy's doing. I can't see it too well. Oh shit. Oh shit. Well, if it's going to come out, let's see if we can get a better look. Because it looks sort of like he's... Well, from a distance I thought he was holding an apple, but now it looks like... What the heck is he doing? Is he talking in something? I guess it's just overall too dark to really see it all. Maybe if I had actually seen this show, I would know what it is. And if I knew what it was, well, whatever. Anyways, this looks like Region A, so this is a Blu-ray. Okay, yeah, it says Blu-ray right there, Blu-ray right there, DVD right there, and DVD right there. 33 to 38, 26 to 32. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, while I would like to oh, yeah, I guess the sleeve goes back in. Well, I would like to see what this looks like next to part 1. That one's filed away and it's been fully processed, whereas this one is literally just came in the door, so I haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. So let's reverse the order of things here and begin by removing this damn sticker. Glad that they came off really easily and didn't fracture or anything. So, you know, same old Region A, probably English dub down there. We have same stuff on the inside. We have another reversible cover, this time with people. This is Blu-ray 39 through 47 and Blu-ray 48 through 50. Then DVD versions 39, 45. So you see there's a lot of there not being numbers on these things, so I'm looking at episode numbers instead of season parts. Oh, I did it again. I guess whatever. Okay, next up we have Cardcaptor Sakura the movie 2. You know, that's the movie 2, the sealed card. Let's see, when all returns nothing, the full heart remain true. You can see down here, I think these are similar audio options from before, so this probably doesn't have new dub. It says Region A. Now, this is a discotheque release. They've got a lot of stuff that they've released. Almost feels like they're maybe playing catch up. So this is interesting. The inside is same artwork. You know, sometimes they like to intentionally create two different pieces of artwork in their slipcovers. In this case, it's kind of fine because, you know, Cardcaptor Sakura, you know, stands on its own pretty well, imagery-wise. Although, admittedly, it should, in theory, have material in order to show more. Oh well. It's still pretty nice. Good and straightforward. Nice to have this on Blu-ray. I had to look up to see what I did before, and I did get the first movie, what, 4 years ago on Blu-ray? Anyways, Matchless Raijin-Oh Season 2. So, basically, the people who released this anime Midstream, they released first 5 volumes, and this is, I guess, their solution to releasing the rest of Raijin-Oh. I think maybe I read something that said that they had dubbed whereas this one is subtitled only. Interesting. Oh, so that is pressed. I see text there. But I was just wondering if it was burn on demand because the disc art kind of felt a little lighter. A little more applied. Although it doesn't feel like your standard burn on demand stuff, so I'm kind of curious what's underneath these. Probably not much. Well, I guess if I've gone that far, I might as well take a peek underneath this third panel, huh? There we go. I thought they were a little young to be married. Is that some sort of fantasy sort of thing, I guess? Hold on. I think I turned this one upside down. Yeah, that kid should be upside down like that. Weird. But okay. 26 through 51 in one set. Well, that's pretty good. And then Anime Midstream released BtX Anime Midstream. Contains all 25 episodes. And it was really interesting because, you know, I had missed the release of this apparently, because I guess I wasn't being as thorough then as I am now with the Right Stuff releases. But this is a kind of nice thing to get released because there's 2 DVDs of it already out, and now this, I think, is a complete series. All 25 episodes. Well, it says all. Oh, interesting. So it's the same sort of container as Raijin-Oh Season 2, which I guessed because they would probably have about the same number of episodes that there would be similar distribution. I can feel that this is a lot smoother, so there's a different pressing mechanism going on here. But you know, it's still burned. It's neat to see, because my understanding is Anime Midstream is kind of smaller fan group sort of thing almost. So I guess we're gonna take a peek underneath all these things. Even though, you know, like, that's not the best image art, it's still one of those things where it's just like interesting to kind of see what they did, especially since I don't know if BtX is familiar to a lot of y'all. I could see that this could be a very unique sort of show that probably caters to some people with tastes that, you know, they might not find in a lot of other places. But I don't know. Anyways, next up, let's get rid of another Funimation sticker. Funimation's got a lot of releases this week apparently. Oh no, it ripped. So we go for another corner. We got a little cocky from the Iron-Blooded Orphan stuff. Oh, yeah. That white is sticker. So if we do that, then we're most of the way there, and then what sticker? Yeah. Anyways, Black Clover. I think, let's see. That's a region A and a B, so if those of you who watch my videos for importable things, that's important. English dub. True power dwells within. I don't know. Looks like more of the same. And now let's... If I could kind of get a grip on this, I could get it started. Now if I could rip that, I could get it continued. Okay. There we go. Let's see. See, this imagery gives me a better idea of what this anime might be like or about. I kind of like the mix of thin but cluttered. You can see that in both the witch here and the guy here. I don't know what the fuck that is. Maybe human, maybe not. I see a Blu-ray there, Blu-ray 1, and Blu-ray 2, DVD 1, and DVD 2. The fuck? Is this some sort of witch biker gang sort of thing? I mean, you got the flying the broom wrong way thing there. I have no idea what to make of this. Maybe good. I don't know. For fuck's sake, 3 times in a row? Shame me once, or fool me once. Fool me twice. You can't fool me twice. I got fooled twice. Next up, we have Digimon Adventure Try Coexistence. As you can see from the sticker, new Digimon movie! And also you can kind of see from the stuff here. This time I actually was more careful and I only ordered the Blu-ray plus DVD version and not the DVD version as well. Like, I think I didn't pay attention to Familiar Mon. I've never... Oh wait, I have seen a little bit of the show. Have I seen any of the show which has that character in it? I don't remember. Oh, this is my famous over. Oh well, the important thing is I thought I saw a region thing there. I guess I did. It just looks a little smashed. So it's region A, I guess. No, I take it Jenny Young Bosch is playing the voice of a character. We've got the DVD version, we've got the Blu-ray version, we've got pink insert, which you can see there's some Digimon imagery. Also available, the first 4 movies. Were there supposed to be 6, I think? I think so. Because this one seems to be about one that isn't one of these 5, Digimon Adventure Tri Future. And look, there's even Arceus. Of course, it's actually some sort of Digimon, but being a Pokemon person myself, you know, that's about the limits of my joke. Oh well. Next up we have Mobile Suit Gundam 00's second season on Blu-ray. And here we have something that says Hecha in Mexico, apparently. It's kind of interesting. It'd be interesting if the dub was also still being done. Whoa, there's a sticker on it. Okay, yeah, this is a Right Stuff slash... Well, I wonder if it's a Nozomi release, because Nozomi may be a specific label that Right Stuff releases their own stuff under, whereas they help Sunrise bring Gundam over, I guess. But wait, Funimation released Iron-Blooded Orphans. What's up with all that? Oh well. Anyways, I see here Region A only, and there should be a dub, because I think, yeah, there's an English dub, which is expected. Oh, no, I guess it's Right Stuff is doing it under their Nozomi label. I guess someone wins every month. And we have Gundam 00, disc 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. 4 discs. I hope I can find that again, actually. Does it actually say back here that's supposed to be 4 discs? Because the loose disc and the empty spot. 4 discs. Cool. And I never apparently put these back in. Oh well. Anyways. Gundam 00 Season 2 on Blu-ray. Next up, we have, or last but not least, we have Tsure Dure Children, which I have no strong feelings on. I just don't have any idea what this is. I see characters, and I feel like not all of the sticker came off there. I see characters. It looks slice of life. I like you, but don't make me say it. Is this supposed to be tsundere or something? It's saying something about inexperienced kids, so let's get all the plastic off. And I see a region A and B for you people wanting to import it. I see an English dub. Then on the inside, it looks to me like this is... No, there's 12 episodes. And that's a Blu-ray, and this is 12 episodes, and that's a DVD, which basically means that this is probably not full-length episodes sort of thing. I'd almost wonder if maybe it's a limited group of tales sorts of thing. I don't know, because there's only 8 characters instead of 12 characters, so it's not like there's 12 episodes. There could be some. I think so. Okay, we got boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, so that's possible. Oh well. Here's this week's anime DVD collection update. Alright, let's begin with Dragon Ball Super. So I had completely forgotten that I was in the middle of this until my friend that I was watching this with came back from a couple of trips that he was on. And yeah, it's good because it means that basically, you know, I got to watch some of this, and you know, I kind of appreciate Dragon Ball Super, what it is, what it's doing. It's weird, and some of the really weird stuff is starting to show up here, but I'm not sure if it's bad. I'm also not quite sure if I should be dropping names of too many things. Like one weird thing is Future Trunks' hair is blue. And I guess what's really going on there is Bulma's hair was originally supposed to be purple, but they kind of saw it as more of a blue when they created Dragon Ball, and then they did the same thing with Trunks, except, you know, his hair was purple like Bulma's was supposed to be, but then they kept it purple until Akira Toriyama in this decided that he should be consistent with Bulma and the hair should be blue, which maybe almost sounds like it makes sense, except that past Trunks is still purple haired. That's really weird. Their cast of characters continues to be kind of interestingly chosen, interwoven, I guess. And I don't want to elaborate too much on that, but it's interesting because it kind of feels like Dragon Ball Super isn't a let's milk Dragon Ball Z. It really does feel like the original creator of Dragon Ball Z is finally doing more of his stuff. He's created a universe that's bigger, and some of it is weird and you're not sure what to think of it, but at the same time the elements aren't just introduced and tossed, I guess. And not that Dragon Ball Z felt like it had a lot of that stuff, but it kind of felt like Dragon Ball Z had built a core, and that's why it kind of had a concept of the Z Fighters, which seemed to adjust and change ever so slightly over time. But this one, it's a lot more dynamic in its socialness, I think. It's sort of in line with, you know, food is an important part of this series, and I've finally seen some of the first things that kind of maybe doing something that's a little more Dragon Ball Z-ish, but it's really hard to tell because, you know, I'm flying blinder than before. You know, before I used to be able to, when Dragon Ball Super began, I used to be able to fall back on Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F, because those were basically the first couple of story arcs of Dragon Ball Super. And then after that, you can kind of understand where it was going from there, because I guess I don't know if I want to go into too much more detail on a lot of stuff, just in case nobody's watched anything. But as you go here into what I would call the fourth story arc, maybe the fourth major arc, because there was another little one in there, which was okay. I'm trying to think if there was something that we got really out of it, but I don't know. Anyways, it's been interesting. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, because they do introduce some things that you're questioning a bit, and I would like to know what the answer is, and I could probably look it up really easily, but no real need to. I also chose to watch Star Blazer 2199, or at least the part 1 that I have here, and it's pretty entertaining. It starts off, I don't think saying it starts off a little rough is quite right. More like it starts off a little jumbled. Like you're not quite sure if you're supposed to hang on to something. It begins with this fleet battle in space, and if you're not really into submarine or ship warfare, and I mean like ships on the sea sort of warfare, then maybe it doesn't necessarily, it seems like it's maybe showing that off a bit, and you're not sure if you prefer that or not, and things could happen in Throne, and there's some interesting setup with this scenario, and I think a lot of this stuff is pretty much the same from the old Star Blazers anime, but I've never watched that, so I can't really say for certain, which is also confusing because I thought the original one was Space Battleship Yamato, and so maybe it was this one called that, but Star Blazers, well, I mean, it makes sense to call it that just because then it has the same name here in the States as the old 70s show had back in the 70s. It'd be interesting to watch that one. I mean, I have it on DVD, so I have the ability to do that. It'd be interesting to watch the original one and get a feel for how this new one is different. Because there's some ways where you can kind of, you can feel its origins from the original 70s show in that the character designs are, they don't look like they're from the 70s, but they feel like they're very inspired by the 70s. Some of the music kind of does that as well. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's out of date or anything, but it does feel like it's a remake. What has it been, like 20, 40, well, let's say 45 years or something, maybe 40, 45 since the last one was made, and it kind of feels like, I don't know, that stuff. Content-wise, yeah, it starts off a little weird and rough around the edges and stuff's happening and you're not sure if you care, but then it starts getting interesting as it goes from there. And I guess one thing I've liked about it is it hasn't gotten too heavy with some of its stuff. It's introduced some ideas that could have been heavy. Like, there's an AI and there's a question of what it thinks of itself and the world around it or something like that. And they could have chosen to go kind of heavy confrontational with that, but they chose not to, which I think is nice because it means that the audience gets to ask the question instead of the show forcing it down your throat. And it can be fun for the shows to force that sort of stuff down your throat as well. I think Kino's Journey has a couple of episodes or stories in there along those lines as an example, and I think Kino's Journey is good because of that. And so I guess I'm just saying that I enjoyed it this time, that it didn't do that. That said, I have one thing I'm still kind of questioning storytelling-wise, which I'm pretty sure isn't something new. But I don't know if I want to elaborate because they don't really talk about it until late in this part, and so it's probably better not to talk about it. But there's a part of me that's like, its goal is to maybe introduce a hint of moral grayness, not necessarily sympathy for the bad guy as an organization, because you can be watching this and think, well, there's probably plenty of good people there, but there's still a militaristic dictatorship, racist, corrupt, organization, because like it's some people may talk about things about it like it's not, and I'm talking about within the context of the show, but it is undeniable they create a class system based on the race of people, which is not a very good thing. They clearly let very corrupt people make choices. They say we honor certain agreements, but then those agreements are things that other people didn't necessarily agree to and are kind of over the top. So I kind of had trouble believing some of the moral grayness they're trying to introduce, because they're definitely a bad empire, and that's the point. And I don't know, maybe it's sort of like Macross tried to introduce the idea that the aliens in that one were kind of moral there because they only had a militaristic stuff, and so because most of them hadn't been exposed to other things, they just didn't they weren't able to fall apart like they naturally should have, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's too much talking and stuff, and it's all thoughts. There's a couple of things that, you know, I'm suspecting that the show's either very cleverly trying to make sure you think, or more likely you kind of know already, but you don't know what the implications would be. Anyways, you know, I would have continued with that if I had it, but I don't have the next part, so I decided to give Urara Meirocho. Well, I decided to give this a try, and I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm considering just switching to something else. It's not that what I've watched is bad. What kind of got me interested in this one is a YouTube clip where girl in the middle, who I said I think I've seen this person before. Well, I guess she's supposed to be a kind of more main character, even though it's a 4 girls, cute girls doing cute things sort of show. And there's some actually good mix of interesting fun moments with each of the characters that I've seen in the 3 episodes, but she was kind of the standout as she's slightly feral. Okay. And I don't think they are necessarily going with a realistic concept of feral, but more like a cute girls doing cute thing idea of feral. So, you know, they have her acting like other animals, where it's like, oh no, when you apologize you show your belly. And they play that joke a lot, but somehow it stays amusing. And I guess the issue is that doesn't seem to be a really strong component of the show per se. Like, I think I said that wrong. I think it's a really strong component, but I don't think it's the main idea they were going for. I think they were just going for that her to be a kind of driving force for certain things, but they wanted all the girls to be enjoyed. So they're usually not doing all that much, and there's some stuff in there where it's like they establish that the city is set up so that only Uraras of a certain rank can go into certain blocks. And I was thinking that this sounds like complete bullshit, because the show's trying to set up something where, okay, well, our main girl is just, if she wants to go in there, she just has to go up in rank. And I'm like, first of all, this isn't making it out to be like, I don't know, a competition where you move forward into 4 levels or something like that. Instead, it's more like, oh, these people are just kind of living their life, enjoying fortune telling, basically. And part of the problem is it doesn't always seem to be about the fortune telling specifically. So it kind of feels like, I don't know, it just kind of feels like maybe I was hoping to be entertained by something that's kind of there, but maybe a little underused. And instead it's focusing on stuff that is almost close to what the premise of the series is, but not entirely. So it feels like it's just a little bit off. It's not bad. That's why I'm not sure that I'm going to drop it, because I kind of look at some of the other stuff here and I tend to go for stuff really close to me, and wondering if maybe Clockwork something or the other is a candidate, or maybe something from this week, but none of those definitely jumped out as, oh, I definitely have to watch this. So I'm not sure. The other problem is that since this is subtitled only, it is a little hard to watch it in the background while playing Octopath Traveler. But that's been, you know, whatever. Obviously, I've gotten a lot more anime watched this past week. But for Octopath, I think I've put 90 hours into the game, and I've done the second story for 4 characters, and the third for one of those. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my main party choice through the story, and then I will worry about the other characters when I can take advantage of the super high level options to just do whatever I want to do for them. Or that might become impractical at a certain point, and if that does, then, you know, I'll deal with it. But it's been enjoyable. I guess it feels like it's slowed down a little bit because I wasn't doing the party building anymore. If you're kind of curious, I think I've got a team of mostly support people, so they'll change what they're doing to support each other depending on circumstances, and they've been a much higher level than the bosses as I've gone through the story mode, but they ran into some difficulties with this last one. I mean, the party beat the boss pretty easily, but it was a bit of juggle. Maybe the boss's scale. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. And I guess it's also interesting that I feel an urge to gain more money, because I think I mentioned last time I had like 300,000 before I had started anybody's second story, and as I was exploring the towns and realizing what to buy, I ran out of money before I even went to Victor Hollow to find out, holy shit, there's a lot of really good items here I want to buy. So I ended up spending more time, you know, getting money, and now I can get money really fast around the same time that I finished getting all those items, just because I've been doing party building at the same time. And I should really use my nuts, because I haven't used any of them. And there's a couple characters who are definite candidates for having all of a certain kind of nut used on them, but I have not done that yet. Oh well. I'll keep at it. I've been enjoying it. One interesting thing regarding story stuff is once you start on the level 2 stories, the game kind of slightly addresses a problem with the stories that you might have heard other videos. Like I think I mentioned last week that Donkey's video on it was a little on the weak side, and one of those is the game makes it where the stories of the individual characters are that character's story, and even as you continue on, the characters just you know, the story continues as if that character is the only one there, but after cutscenes it does give you the option to look at banter between characters of the party relating to events that just happened. And so, for example, there's an interesting one where one character's like, don't look behind us, but I sense we are being tracked. Because at the end of the cutscene, at the end of somebody's story, there's somebody following after, and then somebody's like, I sense we're being tracked, and they go back and forth on what it means, what they should do, what their enemy may be, and they kind of decide, okay, well, we don't want to tip our hand and make them disappear before we discover who they are, and we don't want to lose them because then we won't find out who they are, so we're just going to pretend that we never noticed them. Which is kind of a funny resolution, and there's some funny-ish banter in some of the dialogue. I don't know if the story is necessarily wowing me per se, but you know, stuff's happening, and it's been a fun game. Although I really should work at it, because if I don't finish it before August 28th, then it might become a project that I never finish, just because that's when Monster Hunter Generations comes out. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I should say. And it's not, I think I played Monster Hunter Generations, but the thing that makes this one different is my brother's gonna play it this time, and I might have coworkers who play it, and so there's some, I wouldn't call it urgency, but there's a desire to play it, see what happens. So I guess that means I have 3 weeks, don't I? Well, here's hoping I can finish Octopath by then. With the amount of hours I've been putting in every week, you may think so, but with the amount of party building I've been doing otherwise, maybe not. Oh well. I think that's everything I had to talk about this week, so yeah, y'all have a nice one.